Hi, I'm Kelly Formoso, the Executive Director of the Hudson Valley Chapter. Welcome to our 140th anniversary celebration. We're so happy you can make it. We are having an amazing day here at the Center for Performing Arts at Rhinebeck. We've had volunteers outside welcoming and thanking our donors. We are teaching individuals how to keep their homes safer for fires. And then of course, we have so many people rolling up their sleeves to give life-saving blood, and it's just been an awesome day, and we just thank everyone who has been involved.
Hi, I'm Lisa Smith. I'm the Executive Director of Central and Northern New York, and I'm here in Syracuse celebrating the 140th anniversary, and I'm so happy that you joined us. Thanks so very much for all you do.
Welcome to our 140th anniversary event. Wow, what a day. My name is Kevin Coffey and I'm the proud CEO of the American Red Cross of Eastern New York. For 140 years, Americans have relied on the Red Cross to be there for disasters big and small, to take care of our soldiers, to provide life-saving training classes in first aid, CPR, and help patients through our blood collections program. Tonight, we have an amazing evening planned that shows how critical our work is to our community. Across the region, we celebrated our legacy of service the only way we know how. By continuing our service to help others, we held 6 blood drives around the region to help patients in need. Even the hilarious Paul Rudd joined us today at our Hudson Valley Blood Drive and created some amazing treats for us. To kick off our 140th anniversary event, the Hudson Valley resident sent us a special message.
Hello, I'm Paul Rudd, and today I donated blood for the Red Cross. Do you know that if you donate blood, one donation can save up to 3 lives? If you're in Dutchess County, go do it today because it's a big blood drive. Our store, Samuel's, is donating these cookies featuring Red Cross founder Clara Barton. And oh my God, we just dropped some gummy worms. But you know what? We'll sell them later. And clodhoppers. These are my favorites. There's peanut butter in them, so if you have a peanut allergy, don't eat them. Or give them away as a gift. But if you can eat peanut butters, plural. Get yourself a few bags of these. Donate 5 pints of blood, 5 bags of clodhoppers. Thank you, Red Cross, and thank you to all of your volunteers. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Paul, and to all the other blood donors who turned out today. Your donation truly saves lives. Let's hear firsthand from Rebecca on how your donations impacted her life.
My name is Rebecca. I'm 16 years old and I'm still alive today because I received blood donations. Back in December of 2018, I became critically ill with the flu. I was coughing up blood and I had a 106-degree fever, so I was brought to the emergency room.
On the way down to the hospital, we had to stop several times. They had to resuscitate her 4 times. And then upon arrival, she was gray.
I remember I was coming in and out of consciousness a lot. I vaguely remember the drive to the hospital.
She was in critical condition. She's hemorrhagic shock, septic shock, multi-system organ failure. I had met Dr. Gary Tatz at that time, and he said, you know, he's got her. And within minutes of being there, she was able to she got 5 units of blood, plasma, and platelets, because she lost a third of her blood in her body.
If they didn't have enough blood when I arrived there, I wouldn't have made it. There's so many lives you were saving by taking those few minutes to donate blood.
Rebecca is 16 now. She's a sophomore in high school, and she is a rock star.
I survived for a reason, and one of those reasons is to help other people and get the word that people need to donate blood so that there can be more survivors like me.
I don't know that there's really enough words to describe what I'd like to say. 2 small words: thank you, and your donation matters.
On average, it costs $3,900 to host a blood drive, and we collect over 66,000 units of blood. Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. Your support ensures we can be there for Rebecca and others when time is of the essence. Here in the Eastern New York region, we have over 1,700 volunteers working to make our community safer and bring help and hope where it's needed most. Every 8 minutes, the Red Cross is called to respond to disasters, and your donation today ensures we will be there 24/7 for people like Michael and Lacey. Let's hear their story.
A little over 3 years ago, just happened to be the night of the last nor'easter of the year. Got home from work at around 10 o'clock, 10:30 or so, tired. 2 hours later, heard our smoke alarms go off, and I woke up in a room engulfed in smoke.
And he started to scream my name. Ran downstairs, I saw there was smoke in the room. I think I ran upstairs and got a fire extinguisher. And by the time I came back down, the room that was just a little bit smoky was engulfed in flames. And I said, we have to get out of here.
She had attended some Red Cross training about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks earlier, just coincidentally. And she kind of took charge and told me what to do. I was kind of paralyzed by the fire, frankly. I was actually trying to fight it, and I got burned, and everything burned to cinders. There was nothing left.
Not too long before, there had been people in the neighborhood that were knocking on doors from the Red Cross, and they had smoke detectors, and they wanted to put smoke detectors in the house. They asked if they could. Thankfully, they installed the smoke detectors. They did everything. They went up on the ladders, they brought the screw gun, they brought the equipment. I didn't have to lift a finger. There was a volunteer RN with them, and she said, would you like to learn about fire prevention and fire safety? As I began to conversate with her, I saw what she was saying was really important and pertinent. The Red Cross training definitely saved our lives, both of our lives.
After the fire that night, we had no place to go.
They have the expertise to help you through trauma. Not only did we get housing and essentials like toothbrush, toothpaste, even a comb, that kind of thing. We had access to a psychiatrist. A counselor came and sat down with me, who was just a volunteer, just listening, just sincere caring, and that's what you're going to find at the Red Cross.
I think unfortunately, I believe my wife and I would have both perished. If the smoke detectors hadn't have gone off, if the alarms hadn't have gone off, I probably wouldn't have woken up.
Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. I mean, you saved my husband's life, my life. It's imperative to get Red Cross training.
Every 8 minutes, someone needs the Red Cross, and we need you to be there for us to help them. A donation of $140 would buy blankets to wrap around a fire victim who's just lost everything and escaped with just the clothes on their back. Michael and Lacey survived due to the work of our Sound the Alarm campaign. We've installed over 25,000 smoke alarms in our region, and we could do so much more if you help us make our neighborhoods safer and donate today. This June marks the 5-year anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting. You may not know, but the Red Cross is actually on scene during these tragic events, providing critical mental health support to families and first responders. Brian Regan, a Syracuse native, shares his thoughts about the Red Cross.
Hi, I'm Brian Regan, a native of Syracuse, New York, but have resided in Orlando for the past 16 years. I'm a proud supporter of the Red Cross. In 2016, my place of work was attacked by a deranged gunman, killing 49 of our family and friends. In the days, the weeks, and the months after, countless volunteers and staff members came to our aid to help us piece our lives back together. Later that year, I was awarded the National Hero Award from the Red Cross, an honor that I hold very dear to my heart. On behalf of myself and the entire Orlando community, happy 140 years, and thank you to all the volunteers.
Our mission was founded 140 years ago with Clara Barton on the battlefields. Today, we carry her vision forward by supporting our brave men and women in the military and their families. Let's see a special story about how one military spouse found hope and purpose at the Red Cross.
There's a lot of opportunities on Fort Drum for blood drives. It almost seems as if there's a bigger presence on this post, and I don't know if it's just because of the leadership with Dustin, but it is very common. You see it on a lot of the installations. We just actually took a trip to our next duty station this summer, and as soon as we pulled into the city, we saw the Red Cross, and my 17-year-old said, "Look, there's the Red Cross." So she knew immediately she would have that familiarity and be able to immerse herself in the volunteerism with the Red Cross. We see it absolutely everywhere we go. I think some of the challenges for being in a military family is not having continuity. We move so very often. We've had a lot. This is number 17 for our family. So you don't have that continuity. You kind of hold on to family a little bit more, but I think that's also the importance of volunteerism and having the familiarity of organizations you can volunteer with. And that might have been a big reason why I leaned towards Red Cross. You do see it everywhere. Red Cross is an absolute constant. I'd like to wish the Red Cross a happy 140th anniversary.
Our volunteers make this work possible. Join us. I promise you it will be the best time you've ever spent. Jared Martinez is an Army veteran, a burn survivor, an actor, motivational speaker, New York Times bestselling author, and Dancing with the Stars Season 13 winner. He's experienced firsthand the work of the Red Cross and has been a staunch supporter ever since. I'm so honored he's here with us tonight to share his powerful message of resilience and optimism, a message that will resonate with all of us.
I'd like to think that every single person that I've had a conversation with over the last 18 years, I remember. I'd like to tell you I remember the context of that conversation. I'd like to tell you that I still think about that conversation every single day. I wish, but I don't. But life has this beautiful way of reminding you of those conversations, of those meetings, of those moments. And I had one recently. A young man sent me a direct message on Instagram, a DM as the young kids like to say. And he said, "I'm now 17 years old, and I met you over 10 years ago when I was recently a burn survivor. You shared your story. You had humor. You talked about the power of embracing your scars. You talked about having the opportunity and the ability to create the story that you want for your life. You normalized being a burn survivor. And I can tell you that for the last 10 years, I frequently have thought about that conversation that we've had. And now that I'm 17 years old, now that I'm more mature and I have more knowledge, it has a completely different meaning. But I want to thank you for the gift that you gave me. I want to thank you for inspiring me. I want to thank you for being a voice. I want to thank you." I can tell you I was sitting in this very room. This is the office. And I was sitting in this office reading that message, and I sat back in my chair and I just had to take a moment. Because I'm the guy that has had the opportunity to travel all over the world, speak to veterans, service members, burn survivors, corporate America, nonprofits similar to this incredible organization. And I'm also the guy that steps off of a stage from time to time and questions, am I really having an impact? Did I really share something that penetrated, that is going to stick with somebody? Because of course, we live in this world where we have to get the gratification in the moment, immediately, right? And if we don't, everything starts to creep into our head and we start asking ourselves and questioning. Man, as much as I did something for that young man 10 years ago, I can tell you that in this moment, he did something for me. He gave me life. He added fuel to that lifeline of mine, inspired me to continue to do what I have done. But I'm going to tell you something. For me to become the person that I am today, that loves to share and loves to try to impact somebody else, that all started in the military. I remember in the military, before I was injured, speaking to a commander who was given a briefing to all of us in the unit. And he looked out into the crowd and he talked about how incredibly important every single one of us were to accomplishing the mission. He talked about, in order for me to do my job, I need the private, the specialist, the sergeant, the lieutenant, the captain to do their job. But in order for you to do your job, you need me to do my job. Every single one of you matter, he said, to accomplishing the mission, whether it was for that day or for that deployment. As you can imagine, I'm 19 years old and I'm thinking to myself, okay, wait a minute, I actually matter in this equation. I remember walking away from that feeling inspired and moved by this commander. I remember going on a mission the following day where we had to escort a convoy from where we were to another city. And our job was simple: to protect them, to get them there safely. I can tell you that after that mission, I sat in my Humvee and just kind of looked up at the sky and just really thought about the conversation with that commander and thought about the mission that we just completed. And thinking, I was a part of this mission. I'm a very small part of the mission because I'm a private, right? But nonetheless, I'm a part of the mission. I don't know who those individuals are that we helped. I don't know exactly what they're going to go do, but I know they're going to go help somebody else, and I was a part of the process. I didn't need to be the all-star. I didn't need to be the guy calling all the shots. I was just happy being on the team. And suddenly I started thinking to myself, okay, wait a minute, what's this feeling? What's this feeling that I'm starting to feel that I really love and I enjoy? Oh, that's service. Oh, okay, that's my purpose. And so, like all of us, right? You start building on that. And I started thinking to myself, okay, when I get done with this deployment, I'm going to go back to the States and I'm going to go to this school, that school, this school, that school. I want to be this highly decorated soldier. That was my thought process. And then, of course, life happens. Something interjects itself and says, hold on. We're going to pivot a little bit. We're going to go in a different direction. You know, one of the most challenging things for me when I was injured at 19 years old and burned over 34% of my body, and seeing my face for the first time within the first week of coming out of my medical-induced coma, and learning that I would no longer be able to remain in the United States Army, let me tell you the challenge in that. Is that one, both of my identities were taken away from me. The identity that I'd known for 19 years of my life, meaning the way that I looked for 19 years, now when I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize this individual. Also, the identity that I was starting to create for myself of being of service, of having a purpose. I wasn't going to be able to continue that mission in the uniform within the military. I wasn't going to be able to be there with the guys to finish the deployment to help save them, because that was my job and that was my role. That was devastating. That was a punch to the gut that really took a long time for me to get up from. But you know what allowed me to get up? The people that were taking care of me. Every single person that was at the hospital. The way that they showed up, despite whatever was going on in their personal lives, their professional lives, every time they stepped into my room, they had this incredible attitude. They encouraged me, they inspired me, they supported me, they listened to me. Even though they couldn't relate to me, they listened to me. Because the commonality in all of that is that here I am having to create a new identity for myself. Here I am now having to start over at the age of 19 years old with some tools and resources that I had no idea how to utilize. All of us have dealt with that. All of us have gone through that over the last year. All in very different ways, but nonetheless, we've gone through it. 6 months after I was injured, I was asked to visit a patient who was having a difficult time, and I refused. And finally, I was encouraged to go do it, and finally I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I remember walking into that hospital room and speaking to a young man who was having a difficult time embracing his new reality. 45 minutes later, I said to him, I'll come back tomorrow and check on you. And I started to walk out of the room, and before I could exit, I turned around and looked back into the room. And the room that I walked into 45 minutes earlier was completely dark. Now, had a light on. And something so simple said so much to me, ladies and gentlemen, that I had given this young man hope. That I had shed some light on his dark road that he was on. But instead of ignoring that and just saying, okay, that was cool, that was fun, I instead used that as fuel. I started visiting patients every single day in between my own appointments. And yes, I did that because I wanted to help them. But you know what they gave me? Every single patient I visited with? They reintroduced me to that feeling. Service. Purpose. Because I can serve now in a completely different capacity. My uniform now are the scars on my body. My weapon now is my body language, the way I maneuver through different spaces, the way that I speak. I can still serve in a completely different capacity, and I tell you what, I just embraced that and ran with it. So over the years, when I've had moments where I question, when I have doubt, because it's just part of human nature for us to question and have doubt, I always go back to my center, to my core, and remind myself, why did I start doing this in the first place? And life has a very beautiful way of working itself out where it gives you those reminders. And like this young man that gave me that reminder, I may have given him something 10 years ago, but I made sure to tell him in that response that he gave me something now. The reason I share that story because I think it's incredibly important for every single person that is watching this right now, whether you're a volunteer, whether you're a community leader, a business leader, supporter of the Red Cross. It's important for every single one of you to understand that you are crucial into the Red Cross being able to accomplish the mission that they accomplish on a day-to-day basis. And yes, you may not get the reward in the very moment, right? You may not get that DM, that message from the person whose life you impacted. But you have to trust and know that you are having an impact. That every time you work to set up that blood drive, that there's going to be somebody that maybe you won't be able to have a direct connection to that'll benefit from that. That when you go through the process of the fire response and safety program and helping a family and educating them, that you might save a life one day. That when you set up a program to help a military family, a veteran, a spouse, children, you're saving lives. I applaud every single one of you because in the last year, we have seen so much division. But you know what people have not seen enough of? You. Of how every single one of you has still managed to find ways to show up for each other. That despite all the division, despite all of us being separated, you still showed up. You know, we can get through anything. We've learned that over the last year. It's been a challenge, been hard, but it's important for every single one of us to remind ourselves that we can get through it if we are willing to listen and support and encourage one another. It's not just about physical wounds. It's about the emotional wounds. It's about the mental wounds. It's about the spiritual wounds. The wounds, in other words, that are not visible. The wounds that people just walk right by you and just say, oh, they're normal. Everything's okay in their world. Now more than ever, let's show up for one another. But trust and know that you are impacting lives. You are saving lives. One last story, friend. I had an opportunity a few years ago to go visit an Air Force base. And when I was taking a tour of this base, I remember walking into a room, and the person that was the tour guide walked me into this room, and I saw a bunch of monitors and screens all over the place. And I asked them, this individual said, "What is this room?" And she said, "This is the room, and this is the team that is in charge of getting you, the service member who is injured, from the battlefield back to the States. They ensure that the right medical team is there, that they have the right equipment. They schedule ambulances, planes, everything." I never stopped to think about those individuals. I never thought about them and how I benefited from the incredible work that they do, and so many other service members. They may never get the thank you. They may never get the applause from the actual person's case that they worked on. But I hope that they know deep down in their heart that what they are doing is saving lives every single day. And although they don't get the recognition and the acknowledgement, that they are appreciated and respected and loved. I share that story because that's every single one of you. I hope that you know that you are appreciated, that you're respected, that you're loved. And I hope that you take care of each other and you take care of yourself, because we still need you. As you know, the work is never done. And now more than ever, we have to continue to show up for one another. So to the Red Cross, I applaud you. I thank you for all the incredible work that you are doing, for all the lives you are impacting, all the lives you are saving. It's an honor to be here with every single one of you to share a little bit of my life with you. But just remember, every single one of us have the opportunity to impact somebody else's life. And we are. God bless every single one of you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your service. Thank you for finding your purpose.
Thank you, JR, and thank you all for being here with us tonight. Tonight's program is all about purpose. The Red Cross's purpose is to bring hope and healing when it's needed most. We need you to join us. Donate blood, volunteer, and make a gift. Tonight would not be possible without our generous supporters. Thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to our Ready 365 partners. Thank you to our honorary committee and all the folks who've been involved in making this evening a great success.
Happy 140th, Red Cross.
Happy 140th anniversary to the American Red Cross.
Happy 140th anniversary to the Red Cross.
Lastly, I'd like to wish the Red Cross a happy 140th anniversary.
Happy 140th, Red Cross.
Happy 140th, Red Cross, and thank you for everything you've done for our family and for everything you do for the community.